What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the Make an Impact podcast with real stories, real people, and real impact. My name's Turnbull. I'm an entrepreneur, husband, and father on a mission to empower individuals to share their stories so they can make an impact on you. I'm really excited for today's episode. We have Gabriella Dipini in the house. She is the owner of Carter and Company Child Care Center in Clinton, New York. Super cool for me because Gab and I went to kindergarten together all the way through K through 12. And just to reconnect over this conversation, the impact she's making on the childcare industry here locally, the why behind what she's done to build her company, and just the motivates her as a young mother and a young business person was an incredible episode. So let's get on to Gab Dipini. What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the Make an Impact podcast. We have been trying to make this happen forever. Gab Dipini is in the house. How are you today?
Hi, good. How are you?
Shout out. We're going to start real quick with Mrs. Paul. Shout out to Mrs. Paul, our kindergarten teacher.
Mrs. Paul.
We know she watches the show. And we have Mr. Taft in here, kindergarten days. Mike loves being on the show. How are you? What's going on?
I'm good. I'm busy. I've got my kids.
The
working
business.
all the time. The business. Yeah, it's summertime, so we're trying to spend as much time at the pool as we possibly can.
Love that.
We're starting homeschooling.
Love that.
So
Get into that.
We're busy.
So the owner of Carter and Company.
Yeah.
Just turned 3.
Just turned 3 yesterday.
Located in Clinton, right across from Tiffany's.
Yeah, it's a daycare center too.
Daycare center.
Yeah.
Love it. We're going to get into all of it. Talk to us about Gab. I want to talk about, we just recently kind of reconnected past social media from school. So we went from kindergarten to senior year through, and then everybody went their own way. And so what did that look like, going your own way after school?
After high school, I went to school in Buffalo at UB. I did engineering school there for 4 years. And then I started working for Budweiser or Anheuser-Busch. Moved to St. Louis with them, and then did a program there for about 4 months. Moved to Virginia, and I was there for a few years, and that's where I met Andrew. Love my life. And then we both stayed with Budweiser. They transferred both of us to Baldwinsville when we were kind of looking to start a family, when we wanted to get closer to home. And then we had our 2 beautiful daughters there, and we were coming home on the weekends. We wanted to see our friends. We wanted to have help, obviously.
Right.
You guys have kids now, so you know how that goes.
Yep.
And so we just said, screw it, let's move back home. We love Clinton anyway. It's a super safe place to raise kids. So that's what we did. We had Zoe, and then I believe she was 2 months old, and we moved back home to Clinton. And then we both got jobs at Wolfspeed in Marcy. He's still there. And then while I was there, we kind of found out that we didn't have childcare here, and that's how we started Carter and Company when I was still there. And we opened, 3 years ago.
3 years ago. Mm-hmm. Talk to me about working at Budweiser.
Crazy pants.
So you were in Buffalo. You went to school in Buffalo.
I went to school in Buffalo.
And then got the job after school to go to St. Louis.
Went right to St. Louis. Yeah. Budweiser is the coolest company ever. They have been doing everything that they're doing forever. They're super lean, super efficient. Everything is documented. Every single thing that you do has a policy procedure. I learned so much about how to manage people, how to make things go smoothly, to document everything. I learned so much about manufacturing, economics, just all kinds of stuff. They put you through the best training there. I don't think I could be doing what I'm doing now, actually, if I hadn't worked there.
Yeah.
It's a tough company, too. They're kind of cutthroat about who they let in, who they keep.
Yeah.
But it's super fun, and there's beer everywhere.
That's a plus.
Yeah.
I'm interested. The reason I asked that is because we want to touch about the company a little bit, but I'll get back to the reason behind that. But you just touched on it. Like, that large corporation has processes and procedures. Like, working for a corporation of that size and then coming home to Little Clinton, New York, and starting your own business could not be two further sides of the spectrum. But they have similarities. You still need processes. You still need to have staff. You still need to know how to manage people, whether it's one person or 100 people. There's still the same root cause behind that leadership and all of that. When you moved and had that job, Was there always the plan to come back home?
No, I don't think I did until we had the babies. And
that
then
changed it.
It changes everything in your life. You just reprioritize everything. You change your mind about a lot of things, and you realize what's important. And family's the most important thing you'll ever do. And it's not easy to have kids without support. So it's good to be close to family. So at that point, we knew we were either going to move closer to my parents or closer to his parents. They're in Idaho. Mine were an hour away, so we moved back to Clinton, and we love it there.
Yeah, it is. It's funny. We have 3 people in the room that all went to school together, which is kind of cool. And then just to your comment of like, Margot, my daughter's just turned 15 months old, and like, it's so wild how it's just a light switch. Life changes. Like, I remember telling you this like 4 months ago. I'm telling you, Mike, the second she's here, everything's going to change.
Yeah.
Priorities, a love that you've never felt in your life, desire to chase bigger goals, to build a better life, all those things just change overnight.
Sure. I have always loved, there's something I kind of live by with my kids, which is you can't be what you can't see. And that's why I like to surround myself with people who are doing things that are like inspirational to me, or people who are better than me at certain things, right? And so I try to like do that for them. And that's part of the school too. Like, if they see me do these things, they'll know that they could do those things
100%.
later on in their life or whatever.
Yeah.
And I don't think I had any kind of like conviction like that before I
Yeah.
had kids.
Yeah, I think
I was floating around.
That's interesting you say that, because I'm just thinking of it like my dad still owned a business while I was growing up, and there was, summer days that he wasn't home till 8 o'clock at night, and I just thought, oh, he just owns a business, that's just what he does. But now, like, owning my own business and understanding hate the word balance, but I'm going to use it, the balance and the sacrifices that you may make of owning a business and the family time and all that, and seeing the why behind that just completely shifts your mind.
Yeah. And you realize too, he probably wanted to be home.
Right.
Like when you're little, you don't know what your parents are
Right.
doing.
Right.
But yeah, you feel things differently. You understand certain sacrifices that your parents may have made or decisions that they made, and everything kind of like quickly comes into perspective. But yeah, I'm glad we moved back home. It's been great. And also, if you're going to create something from the ground up, doing it where people know you and they have trust with you is really helpful too, because it helps get things off the ground.
So talk to us about that. So you move back home and then realize, get the jobs with Wolfspeed.
Yeah, we actually had a daycare in Syracuse, and then I just naively assumed it would all be the same, and we moved here, and then we just didn't have any daycare at all. So that's when we were kind of scrambling. We were just going to start these jobs, so I said, before I start, like, here's my situation. They were phenomenal with me, and I did some stuff remote. We were lucky enough to find a really amazing girl. She was like a part-time nanny for us. But she's also had aspirations, and she was going to be moving on to bigger and better things at some point. So one of our friends that we also grew up with said, hey, you're kind of desperate. There's this place down the road that's for sale. It's been vacant. It was Half Pint Academy, which I'm sure a lot of people who grew up in the area went to, because it was open for like 20 years. And that's kind of how it got started. We went and we looked at it, and I put in an offer I didn't think that they would accept, and then they did, and we were like, oh, shit.
Oh, shit.
Like, I guess we're doing this now. Yeah. And it went from there. Yeah. It was crazy. We purchased in October. Naively, I was like, oh, we'll have it running in like by December. We're good to go. And I kept my job at Wolfspeed, so I was working there. We had 202. So I was doing like midnights at the business, at the building. It wasn't a business at the time. It was like a mess.
A canvas.
Construction mess.
Yeah.
And we had a bunch of friends working there. I had some contractors who were very generous, and they did a ton of work. They were like, pay us whenever you can. We get it. We want to help the community, which is another amazing thing about being at home. We did get all the construction done by December, which was incredible. We gutted the whole thing. And then we were hung up on state paperwork and approvals for like 6 months after that. And then that brought us into June. But yeah, it was pretty wild.
So talk to us about, here's one thing that I think we reconnected on. I mean, we've reconnected since college days or whatever, high school days, on the fact of like running businesses and what it actually means. And like, I mean, even to the point of just like sending reels on Instagram of like, this is what it's actually like to run a business. Yeah.
Yeah.
But the premise in that is like, you don't know what you don't know until you do it. So like, hey, here's this building, here's this idea, here's a need that I have, here's why I'm going to do it. That's your why. But then you do it, and then you learn all these things down the road. You have way more regulations than I do, but I was in a similar boat when I started the agency. I said, I'm just going to start from home. I don't have any money. I'm going to start this and figure it out. And the state said, no, you're not. You handle confidential information. Okay, great. And found an office state. But like, there's so many ways in the entrepreneur journey. Congratulations on 3 years, by the way.
Thank you.
But so many moments where you're like, maybe this isn't worth it.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. And I think being in the pickle that I was in, it kind of forced me to continue forward because I was still stuck in like a rah-rah, I'm woman, I will work. Like I went to school, I have student loans, I've already put in all this time, I have this job, I love my job, I don't want to leave my job, blah, 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 blah. All my reasons, I have to continue working, and so this has to get done or I will have to stop working. And that made me just keep going, even though I was in tremendous debt. I was not sleeping at all. I had 2 babies. Like, it just kept me going.
A lot of heavy stuff, yeah.
Yeah, and I'm really grateful for that, though, because I think I probably would have pumped the brakes a little bit more or just bailed out. And that does happen to people because it's scary. When you start losing a lot of money, things not going through on time, you're running into a lot of regulatory things. It's really easy to say, okay, that's my threshold, I'm out. But if you just get through the threshold and kind of like hold on really tight for 2 years and just get through the first startup, I think that's how people actually like make it. You know what I mean?
What do you think your experiences in life that led you up to that point? What do you think the premise of those experiences to help you push through those moments? Because here's the deal. I've learned this real quick. We all in this room have learned this. There's entrepreneurs and there's not entrepreneurs. There's no right or wrong. There's no, everybody has their own thing. But you either know you got to do it and just go through the suck, and you're going to have days that you feel like a rock star and then days you think you're going out of business and payroll and this and that and all those things that come up. But you just like, what is it for you past the debt and all those things that, sure, those are big things, but there's other ways to figure it out, right?
Yeah.
That kept you moving, especially with all the regulations and all the things that you ran into that were unexpected, for lack of better terms.
It might be silly, but I'm really competitive and I don't like to be wrong, even though I'm wrong a lot. And I had told everyone, this is what I'm doing. This is my plan. It's going to work. Like,
you manifested it and was like, this is it.
Yeah. I just had my mind made up and I couldn't accept any other narrative because in my mind view at the time, that was my only option. And also, if I'm needing this in this way, if I need transparent childhood or childcare that's safe, that I trust, you know what I mean? Somewhere where you're going to give your babies to, I know other people need it. And that kept me going. Like I couldn't accept that I've told everyone I'm going to do this. I bought the building, and now I'm quitting. I couldn't do that. So we just kept going. And I put online, so at some point when it was looking like we had something on the horizon where we might actually be able to open, I put a wait list out. And I was at home in my pajamas and had the kids. And I remember bawling because like submissions started coming in and I realized like, okay, like this is actually going to work. We just have to get to the starting point and then we're going to have clients. And we always have. We've always had a wait list. But that's something in childcare that you can have. And I don't think in every business you get the luxury of like testing the water to be like, hey, does anybody actually need this? Like, is anybody going to get in line for this? And you just have to guess and go forward. I didn't have to guess, which was nice. And that kept me moving because I knew I've got 150 people ready to go as soon as I'm ready to go. So that helped a lot.
Yeah.
And I don't know how is it in your industry?
Oh, everyone just loves us. Insurance, they love it. They're lining out the door right now. They're out there. Yeah, of course.
Well, they have to have it.
You're 100% right. But here's the thing I want to talk about, and you just teed me up perfectly. You can open up a childcare and a daycare, and the demand's there. I can open an insurance agency. You have to have insurance to drive your car down the road, but people want to be able to, you have to have people that want to be able to do business with you. And in your case, want to trust you with their baby, trust you with your child. Talk about how you navigated that, and we're brainstorming that when you started the business. Because that's more than starting a business, putting up a sign, baking these cookies, and seeing if someone wants to buy it. Like, that's their child.
Yeah. I know I should have done that. Yeah, I guess I was a customer first, and I was a mother first. So I knew what the other side of that felt like. I had my oldest at a daycare center in Syracuse. Some days we loved it, and some days we hated it. And she was only there a couple hours a day and whatever. But, you know, I knew, okay, these are the things I really loved that they did, and these are the things I never want to do. And we kind of went from there. I knew I wanted parents to be able to be in contact with the teachers at any point. I knew I wanted building access to parents, because some places you're not allowed to walk in. You're stuck at the front door, and I didn't love that. You know, I just wanted parents to feel like they could breeze in at any time. They have full access to their kids. They have full access to their kids' teachers. They should know the names of their kids' teachers. They should be able to ask a question. They should be able to see a picture. You know what I mean? They need transparency, because there's no real other way to build trust if you don't know what's going on with your kid. And children are vulnerable. They can't talk. They can't say, so-and-so called me a name, so-and-so hurt me, so-and-so didn't feed me. You know what I mean?
Right.
You see moms, I don't know if you guys, it's not probably in your algorithm, but I see moms on Instagram who mark their diapers to make sure that the kids are getting changed throughout the day. So they'll put like a triangle on one, an X on another, a square on another, and they send them in. And it's basically to test to see if someone's changing their kid's diaper, because they know what shape was on the one they sent them in with. Yeah, and I find that disgusting. If you have to do that because you don't know if someone's changing your kid's diaper throughout the day, that just should be a no. So I didn't want any parent to drop their kid off and feel like they were unsure if their kid was safe, if their kid was cared for, loved, whatever, and they could have full access. So that's kind of like where I started from. And there are a lot of great places that have kind of the same apps that we have and the same policies and things like that, which is fantastic. But the need was there, and there are a lot of places who don't do those things. They don't update throughout the day. They don't give you any access to the teachers. You don't know the teachers' names. They don't have building access. There's not a lot of outside time. Like, there's a lot of different varieties of care out there. Yeah. So I kind of just made, like, what would I want? Because I was planning on sending my kids there.
I think and you just further answered the last question of the why and the drive behind making it work is the passion that you had for what you knew you would want and that the community needs. Yeah. Like, and that's all you need right there to say, I'm going to figure this out, is because there's people lined at the door literally that are saying, this is the type of service that I need, and you know that it's needed. Yeah. This is a broad question, but I know you can handle it. Why is it the state regulations or the red tape, for lack of better terms, of like the need of true good childcare? Like, you hear it all the time. Like, we had Carrie in here from the chamber, and I'm on the chamber board, and I can't remember the organization that's working with one of the committees. It'll come to me, but just the need is so great. And the thing that's crazy, and I've realized this, so just putting myself in the hot seat, when Mikhail was expecting with Margot, I remember she was like 2 months pregnant. She was like, we got to start looking at childcare. And I'm like, what are you talking about? Baby's not even here.
You're already late to the game.
Yeah, and and she's like, no, we're late. And like, we were lucky to get into the place. Lucky my mother watches her for a couple of days, and we figured it out. Yeah. But like, you hear all these stories of people that are like planning children around how are we going to provide childcare for them. Mm-hmm. I like, maybe a spouse can't stay home. Maybe you need the 2 incomes and all that stuff. Like, why is that? I know it's a very broad question, but you're obviously very plugged into that. Yeah. What's behind that?
I think there's a few reasons. The regulations are one, because you're sort of locked into certain ways of running your business. And some of the regulations I think are wonderful. Some of them I think are prohibitive to growth. Mm-hmm. Another reason is, and this is part of the regulations, is the qualifications of staff that you have to have is almost the same as a public school teacher. So a public school teacher is going to get salary, benefits, summer off, Christmas off, snow days, probably pension, healthcare for life, all these things, right? And some like status, I would say, in the community as well. You only have to do a little bit more school to be qualified to be a school teacher as opposed to qualified to be a daycare teacher. So a vast majority of people who are going that path end up public school, or that's their goal. So they might do daycare for a little bit, and then they're moving on, and sometimes the well runs dry. Another thing is that I think it's a huge risk. Like you have babies who are gonna get sick, they might choke, they're gonna fall, bump their head. There's a lot of things that can happen, and that's not a risk that a lot of people are willing to take.
Yeah.
Because it just takes one thing wrong to really happen, and you're done. This is maybe controversial. There's not a lot of money in it.
Yeah.
You can only charge so much before a family can just say, well, that's what a nanny costs. Right? So you're kind of capped there. And also, if a family has 2 kids and they want to send their kids there, then if you charge so much, then they'll just say, well, for that, I could just stay home.
Yeah.
So that really limits where you're at there. And at the same time, to get the best staff, the best people, where you're not going to get closed down, and you're going to have people who trust you, and you're going to have really great business coming in, you're going to have a wait list, you have to pay your people well. So it kind of really limits that kind of like financial growth that you have. I think too, again, this might be controversial, but some of the grants that are out there are tailored for larger corporations. They're not really made for smaller guys like me.
Right.
So if you're looking to start up, or you're just, we're 3 classrooms, a lot of that stuff's not accessible. It's accessible to huge, like colleges or big businesses that are going to put up multi-million-dollar organizations or things like that. But we can't really get that kind of money all the time. And a lot of the grants are pay now and get reimbursed instead of here's a check, put a new roof on and get a new playground.
Right.
You have to come up with like $100,000, and then they'll do the work, and then they might pay later. So I think there's a lot of different aspects that kind of limit someone's ability to start up and stay successful and stay in the game for a long time.
Right.
A lot of the in-home people stay open for a long time in the chains. But I think a lot feeds into it.
Well, and I asked that because, very truthfully, I know a lot of people, a lot of young mothers who say, well, I'm just going to open a daycare because I have kids and they need it. And I know one that actually did it. And you're sitting here.
Yeah.
And I mean, it's incredible. I'm just super proud of you for the adversity of I'm just going to do the damn thing, especially from the passion behind it of like, this is why I know that this community needs this and I need it. My own kids, all of that ties into just making it happen. Another big question. What? Don't look so scared. What, looking back, if I could take you back to the day that you closed on the building.
This is going to be bad.
The day that you closed on the building, what has the last 3 years in that time frame taught you about yourself?
Oh my gosh.
What a great question, Mike, huh?
I'm just a different person, totally.
Why?
So many reasons. I think the business is one of them. For sure, because you have to go to a place in yourself that is like dark and deep, and like you're your only fan sometimes. You're your only person who really can like gather things together and keep going. I mean, not to say I don't have a wonderful support system, but at the end of the day, it's on you to say, okay, am I going to still put one foot in front of the other? This is actually funny. I don't know. Can the camera see this?
Yeah.
This is like what it's like. I was mowing because I thought I would save a few dollars and not hire out mowing.
Oh, boy.
I'm mowing at this daycare center, and I fell over. I tripped over a kid's fence, and I'm holding on the mower. That's all I have. And I'm under a pergola, and the mower is like coming on over me, and I'm falling. And I grabbed the pergola, and it scraped my whole arm, and I fell.
Day in the life of a business owner.
Sweating in my jeans with grass, and I'm like hurt. Yeah, and no one's there to see it. So you get back up, mow the lawn, fix all the stuff I broke, and that's what it's like. It's just quietly microdosing hell, but then being like, yeah, I still love this and I want to do it. And like nobody noticed anyway. And it's kind of wonderful. And I get a lot of time with my daughters. I get a lot of time off. I have flexibility. I mean, it's like, it's
you're
wonderful.
doing the damn thing.
Yeah.
You know, you make a great point, because I too have an incredible support system over the last we just turned 4 years old in the business. And I'll speak for myself, but I would not be 4 years in, or probably would have even not probably wouldn't have started the business if it wasn't for the support system.
Yeah.
And that's amazing. And I'm not diminishing that at all, but that support system, to your point, is not the ones that has to make payroll, has to figure out how to make it work, has to grow next month bigger than last month, has to do all the regulation paperwork. Like at the end of the day, you make a good point of saying just you got to find the dark place and just push through.
Yeah.
And would you say, in a naive sense, that was something that you just didn't expect, or
100%. I was like,
understand?
we're going to whip up a daycare. I'm going to hire it all out. I didn't even think I would work a day there. I thought I would just hire. This is also from working at Budweiser, fantastic company. They don't hire one single person who isn't uber capable, so dedicated to work. You know what I mean? I was just thought everybody must be like this, because I'm just surrounded by fantastic people all the time. So I just thought, like, anybody I hire is going to be great at this and is going to work super hard. They're going to know exactly what I want, you know, and that just isn't always the case, you know. So my team now is fantastic. My girls here are amazing. I'm obsessed with them, but it takes time to get a team together that you can trust. Hey, like, all my money's here. I have nothing left. Please make it work, you know, and make sure all the kids are happy. Make sure, you know, that's
Well, you've got to give yourself credit there, because you missed one piece when you were saying that. It takes time to have a team that you can trust, but also a team that you can figure out how to lead the right way.
Yeah.
The team is amazing, I'm sure, because there's amazing people, but it comes from you as the leader.
That's true.
And that's something that is, again, something you learn as you go.
That's true.
Like I have a different podcast, crazy I know, that's just insurance focused. And so we just talk about starting an insurance agency, and we have listeners all over the country and whatever. We just did an episode on like reflecting back of what we would do differently.
Yeah. And
I have it with a co-host, and we were like, all right, we're going to plan for this tomorrow, blah, 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 blah. And I'm sitting there like, this list is so long.
Yeah.
But then I realized, and I literally made a list, like from the top, big mistakes that I've made over the last 4 years that I would do differently. Listed it all down. And I'm sitting there like, man, this was a huge mistake. Cost me a ton of money, but I learned so much from
Worth
that.
it. Yeah.
Worth it. Next one. Great. That was a big mistake. Worth it. But and I guess I'm talking to now anybody that's listening that's just like waiting to do it. Like, just do the damn thing.
Yeah, you'll figure it out. You'll totally figure it out. And even like, I probably didn't have my best moments, and I probably the first year was so stressed out. I probably wasn't the best leader, and I didn't bring out the best in people. And that's probably on me. But yeah, you get through it.
You had to do that to figure out how to do it the other way.
100%. And I was used to working with all men, or mostly men. I'm coming from factories, manufacturing, like semiconductors. I'm like used to being the only girl. You can talk to guys a little differently than you talk to women, young women, you know. There's a lot less emotions in the room and things like that. So yeah, it was a huge adjustment. I had to totally change my leadership style, how I speak, how I present, and everything. But you learn so much.
You know what's crazy?
It costs a lot of money and time.
You know what's crazy is reflecting back too, because our timelines are so similar, is like, for me, man, my stress meter is so different than it was 4 years ago. I talk about this with Mikhail all the time. Like, in the first 6 months of the agency, what I thought was a problem, I wouldn't even balk at today.
100%.
You know, and it's like, man, if this happened in the first 6 months, I would have thought my life is over. Just lay me down on the side of the road and that's it. But now it's like, oh, figure that out. That's no big deal. I got this other problem over here. But that's part of just doing it and the entrepreneur story that you have to just figure out.
Yeah.
And those are like all the reels that we send each other back and forth that nobody understands.
We'll get you
in the Instagram. Yeah, and 1 in the morning we're just sitting in bed, figuring out how I'm going to make payroll. Hoping I wake up tomorrow, the bank account looks different.
Yeah.
Maybe that's just me. Talk to me about homeschooling. So you just said you guys just started homeschooling.
We're homeschooling, yeah. So Mila, she's going to be going in first grade, which is the first year you actually have to homeschool. I learned this.
Something else you learned as you go.
Kindergarten is made up. I'm going to probably get in trouble for saying that, but it's not.
Mrs. Paul, turn it off right here.
Mrs. Paul.
I don't think she
Can we cut
watches.
that out?
No, I don't think she watches. Go ahead.
Yeah, you don't have to report to the authorities that you're homeschooling for kindergarten. It's,
Interesting.
Yeah.
Well, that's different than obviously the public sector compared to homeschooling.
Yeah. And then after 16, school is also not required. So all those times where you're like I think that's kind of also like glorified babysitting to some degree. But
Are you talking about me personally? Since we went to high school together, was that an attack directly at me?
No, but I remember even like senior year, I maybe had 2 classes, and then you're like study hall, gym. Like, what am I doing? I'm just sitting here eating muffins. Like, what are we doing? You know? And we could have been like starting a business, working, going to the gym. Like, we could have been doing so much stuff, and that's not to knock the system at all. I had a fantastic time. I loved our school. I had so much fun, and like, I love school, but I don't know. I just, I wanted to homeschool our girls. I had the time to do it. We did kindergarten stuff with Mila. It was super fun. Also, I lead the preschool class currently at the daycare, and sitting down with one kid and trying to teach some concepts is so different than sitting with a group of, I don't even have a lot, I have 7, right? When they're going to kindergarten, it's like 30. And you have one teacher, you might have 1 or 2 aides. Those aides are going to be incredibly busy because they have students that they're assigned to. So I don't know. I just thought to myself, if I can do this, and Andrew's on board, which he is, he's fantastic, and he does a ton of the homeschool stuff. Why don't we try it for kindergarten? Yeah. If we like it, great. If we don't, we don't. We're going to do first grade with Mila and kindergarten with Zoe this year coming up. And they love it. They see the bus go by, and we're drinking coffee and having a slow morning, and they wave at the bus. And I really can't believe if I had to get up at the crack of dawn and like rush them out and be like, get up, go, you know? Yeah. And then you get them back at 3-something, which is still like a decent time in the day. But right. I just can't imagine missing that time with them when they're so little. So if you can do it, especially when they're younger.
Yeah, I mean, and look, I think it's an interesting conversation because there's no right or wrong. Like you said, some people can't do it. If you can, great. If you're not interested at all, great. That's what options are for in life. What I think is interesting is I just know a lot more people that are doing it.
Everyone's doing it. It's
I
like
just
a
don't
trend.
I guess it is a trend. I think you're spot on because like the more people that I've kind of talked to about it is like, oh yeah, we pulled our kids out in 5th grade and we're doing it. I know a guy, and to your point, he has a seasonal business, so he's off in the winter. They're blessed with that business, and his wife doesn't work. Yeah. And they bought a camper trailer, and they're going to Florida and traveling all over. They're homeschooling their kids. Think of the memories and the experiences and all of that. And again, I'm not knocking the public school, so if you're watching this, please, I'm not knocking it. But I just think it's, I guess, trend. Like you said, people are jumping on board with it because they're seeing the opportunities and all that. Yeah. I want to ask you a question. Because when these conversations have been happening, the big, and just, I mean, you're early on in it, 1st grade, kindergarten, but I'm sure you've thought about this aspect. Yeah. I think if I ever talk to anybody about it or people talk to me about it, one of the first things that comes up is like, well, what about the social aspect? Yeah.
To that, I say, know who you want your children to be socialized by. And you'll come up with your answer, I think. Socialization means different things to different people. I think that our kids don't have to be warriors when they're 4 and 5 years old. And I don't think that they get as much social time as we think. I mean, I remember just getting screamed at to be quiet for 12 years. Like, I remember missing recess because we couldn't be quiet. Or, you know what I mean? I mean, what kind of socialization are you looking for? A lot of homeschool kids go to co-ops. People are doing homeschooling differently now, too. Like, some people are nanny sharing where they have a tutor who used to be a teacher who homeschools her kids, and then they're all going to her. Yeah, she's teaching. So, like, you can work in homeschool. You don't have to be in the home every day doing the homeschool. You can outsource it, and people do. People do co-ops. During the day, you can sign up and have your kids doing sports, art classes, all this. There's so many things that they can do that I never knew about until I kind of like got into the homeschool community that they can do during the day with other kids. If you're worried about socialization, I think it's more important that they're regulated. you know what I mean? Emotionally,
Yeah.
they're not stressed out. I think I used to be really stressed out going to school. I was hungry. I was tired. And I remember, I won't name his name, hurt me on the playground. And I just feel like, why do we need to send little kids to go do that? If you don't want to do that, you don't have to do that. I think too, like the amount of time my kids spend outside is 6 hours a day. They're probably going to get less than an hour if they were going to school right now.
Yeah.
And again, not to knock the school system. It's just what I believe in.
Yeah, absolutely. And I appreciate you sharing all that. And I'm sitting here thinking, remember when our whole senior class got ISS the first week before graduation? That's another good story. We'll have to do a different podcast. Maybe unnamed person will come back and tell us about that situation.
So bad. And also, not to say, like, I never learned one thing about starting a business, taxes, growing food. I can't take care of a car to save my life. Like nothing practical at all. I don't know how any appliances work. I don't know how to, all that you just have to learn afterwards. Why isn't that taught in school? That's what you actually need to know. We learned fertile soil and like Pythagorean theorem.
Yeah.
What do we need it for?
Well, and I think, I'm not getting political here, but I just think like you talked about some of the regulations in your private business that may prohibit things. And I think it's the same thing. There's
100%.
these regulations and there's these, one size fits all, and you're going to fit in here for this time period. And if it works, great. If it doesn't, great. You talk about being nervous. The only time I was nervous if I didn't have a class with Mike Taft because I couldn't borrow his answers.
Couldn't cheat.
Yeah. So it's like if I looked at, they send it out like, oh, look at the roster. I'm like, T, Taft, and then well, I'm good. Mom, I'm going to be fine in algebra. I promise.
And like we had great teachers too. I loved all of our teachers, and I'm not knocking teachers. My mom's a teacher. I'm a teacher right now. Like. Is not the teachers. I think there's certain things in the system that just aren't. Yeah. How would I want to do with my kids right now? Not to say they won't want to later, but.
I'm so glad we made this happen. This was like what, a year in the making?
Yeah, we're busy.
This was like a year in the making. I'm really proud of you. I'm proud about everything you've done. It's been so cool to watch and reconnecting over those last couple of years and watching you crush it. It's gonna be great.
I watch all your stuff. I get like when I'm feeling down, I just go watch T5 stuff.
Oh my gosh, I can give you a few other things to watch when you're feeling
down.
Steve's
down in the dumps too.
Oh yeah. Oh look at him. He's in his office again at night. Black and white photo with slow music going over the top of him. Everything's fine. Once we stop recording here, I'll give you some other things you can watch, make you feel a little bit better. Tell people just where they can find the business information, inquiries, information about all that stuff.
Yeah, Carter and Company. What's the website? CarterandCoChildcare.com. All the waitlist information is on there. That's really it. There's my email's at the bottom. It goes right to me, admin@CarterandCoChildcare.com.
Love it.
That's it. We're on Route 5 in Clinton.
Route 5, right across from Tiffany's.
Yes, sir.
All right. Well, thanks so much for being here. Until next time, that's another episode of the Make an Impact podcast. Go out there, lead with purpose, and make an impact in someone's life today, even if that's your own. My name's Stephen Turnbull. We'll see you next week. Take care.